Well, it looks like TV licensing is certainly upping their game. Let's begin. Okay, I'd just like to thank both Pete and Simon for sending these in. Let's get into them. Okay, as usual, we start off with their TV license logo. Next, we have the legal occupiers, so gone back to using that sort of term, which I guess they think carries more weight, being the word legal. Next, we have the date. Under that, we've got the reference number, which of course may or may not be made up. And below that, in big red ink, be prepared for this investigation to lead to prosecution. Hang on a minute, who the hell do they think they are? They're basically saying that we've actually done something wrong when they haven't got a shred of evidence or any reason to suspect anything. So that, in my opinion, is there for one reason only, and that is probably to frighten people, which is really bad for a company in this day and age to do, isn't it? I mean, they should really be on BBC Watchdog themselves, shouldn't they? Dear Sir/Madam, it is a criminal offence to watch or record programmes as they're being shown on TV or live on an online TV service, or download or watch BBC programmes on demand, including catch-up TV on BBC iPlayer without being covered by a licence. I guess you suspect we're doing that already, judging by your big red ink above. If anything, that should be at the bottom of the letter. But of course, no, you don't want to do that, do you? You want us to all be frightened and fear of the TV licence inspector or salesperson, as I think they should be called. But of course, I could be wrong, and if that is not what you want, then you shouldn't be writing letters like this, should you? This could be on any device, including a TV, desktop computer, laptop or mobile phone, tablet, games console, digital box, or a very old-fashioned DVD/VHS recorder. I'm sure we all know what the word any device means. You haven't got to spell it out for people, have you? If the officer scheduled to visit, and it gives the postcode, finds you are watching, recording or downloading programs illegally at this address, you'll be interviewed under caution in accordance with national criminal law. You may then be prosecuted and fined. Now that whole paragraph there makes them sound as if they're the police, doesn't it? They're not the police. And yes, okay, food companies can interview under caution. However, they're not the police at the end of the day, whether they like it or not. Then a big red box, what to expect if you are prosecuted. I'm surprised you didn't say when we're prosecuted, but judging by the tone of this letter, the following evidence may be used to decide your case. Your interview taken under caution by an officer. What officer? Is it a police officer? No, of course not. It's a TV licence goon or salesperson, as they call them, enforcement officers. However, if they just say officer, that just leaves it open to your interpretation of what that word may mean. Period of time the property has been unlicensed since October the 1st, 2021, and the number of times we have written to this address at least 4 times. Well, what difference does that make? And why at least 4 times? I mean, can't you count above 4? Is that the intelligence of the people who write these letters, I'm guessing? And let me guess, if that goes up to 5, will it be at least 5 times? Because if so, why not just put 5 times? Oh, of course, I know why. Because it sounds like more than what it actually is. The maximum penalty is £1,000 fine plus any legal costs and/or compensation you may be ordered to pay. You may also have to pay the licence fee of £159. But of course, what they're not saying at all in this letter so far is if you're not doing any of these things, then this letter is completely irrelevant, isn't it? But no, they don't want to do that, do they? It seems like they go on threats, 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 more threats. Oh, good, let's have our money. And when in fact, it's not your money, it's the occupier's money, and they will buy a TV licence if they need one. They shouldn't have to keep receiving letters from you when they might not actually need a TV licence in the first place. Over the left-hand side, we can see a red circle this time, so they've gone from squares to a circle for all the boys and girls to learn the shapes, so maybe. Status, unlicensed. Investigation scheduled. You have been very naughty, I'm guessing. And in bold, avoid prosecution. Act now. I will choose to act if and when I need to, and if I don't have a TV licence, then I've got no reason to act at all. To prevent an officer visiting you and take legal action that may follow, buy a TV licence. Well, surprise, surprise, their first choice. Who would have guessed it, eh? At the web address, a licence costs £159. Yes, of course, you keep telling us, don't you? And you can pay by direct debit or a debit or credit card. And last but not least, tell us you don't need one at the web address, or call us on the phone number. Now, obviously, in my opinion, they shouldn't really be writing these sort of letters to people in the first place. But if they've obviously allowed to do so, I think they should be made to put that option to begin with. Because if that applies to most people, which I'm guessing it does, then the rest of the letter is completely irrelevant to people, isn't it? But of course, if they'd done that, then people wouldn't be frightened, worried or intimidated by their letters, would they? And I'm guessing they couldn't have that, could they? Yours faithfully, Scott Robson, and he's the Regional Enforcement Manager. Makes it sound a lot bigger than what it actually probably is. And that letter is one of the worst I've seen, because it says at the very beginning, be prepared for prosecution, as if you've already done wrong, when obviously that more than likely is not the case. So if you do end up getting that letter, then I wouldn't let it worry you, as long as you're not doing what they say you're not allowed to do. Okay, next up, again, we start with the TV license logo. Under that, your status looks like they brought out the coloured paints already, doesn't it? Visit scheduled, as if that's something you should be worried about. Under that, we have the date and then reference number. Across the other side of the page, we've once again got the legal occupier. And in big bold red ink, your address has been scheduled for a visit by an enforcement officer. And I'm guessing they probably want that word in there to come across as quite threatening, but to me it comes across about as threatening as what Mr. Blobby is. Anyway, dear sir/madam, you did not respond to our last letter within the last 10 days we gave you. How dare you not do that? Oh, it doesn't say that. Well, actually, TV licensing, people don't have to respond to your letters. You even acknowledged that in one of my last videos. So therefore, you can't blame people for not responding to you if they legally don't have to. Get over it. This means we have had no option but to start an investigation at this address. Ooh. Now that there is probably designed to worry people, especially in this next bit. What happens now? We have scheduled a visit by an officer from the Stoke Enforcement Division. Those two words there, Enforcement Division, makes it sound a lot bigger than what it probably is, and the word enforcement makes it sound that they've got the power to make you do something you might not necessarily want to do. The enforcement officer will explain why they are the visiting and will be polite and fair. Oh really? Well, I don't know if they've actually seen any videos on YouTube of these people, but in some of them, it doesn't look like they are. Maybe they've had a few extra sales training, maybe. Enforcement officer training, maybe. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. If they find evidence that you are watching or recording live TV programmes on any channel or device, or downloading or watching BBC programmes on iPlayer without being covered by a licence, they will interview you under caution, and this could be used as evidence in court. Now, obviously, they're not the police, are they? So in actuality, they've got no actual legal power to enter someone's house and search for and gather any sort of evidence, criminal or otherwise, at all. And that last bit where it says evidence in court makes it sound an almost certainty that that's where you'll be going, when in fact that might not necessarily be the case. If you are prosecuted, you will be fined up to £1,000 plus legal costs and / or any compensation you may be ordered to pay. Now, they continue to throw around this £1,000 fine figure all the time from what I've seen. In actuality, from what I've heard, the actual fine they tend to give most of the time is £170, which is just a little bit more than the current TV licence, isn't it? Then in the red box, you still have a chance to avoid this visit. So there is something you can do. They want to reassure you. Call our specialist team immediately on this number. They have the authority. The authority? Yeah, we've heard from him. Yeah, he's bought a licence. You don't need to worry about it no more. That's their authority. They also have lots of experience in helping people. Wow! And I wouldn't have expected that at all in a letter which seems as if it's filled with lots of legal threats, doesn't it? They have lots of experience in helping people in similar situations to decide if they need a TV licence and to find the best way to spread the cost. For example, you could pay from £6 a week with a payment card. Here we go again. The continuous from £6 a week. Now that figure there, £6 a week, should not be called from £6 a week, because it is not the cheapest option. The cheapest option is monthly, isn't it? Because it's £13.25, I think it is, a month. £6 a week is £24 a month, and therefore nearly double what the monthly figure is. So it's not from at all. And they shouldn't be allowed to keep putting that. Remember, you must call us now if you want to stop this investigation. No, we mustn't, actually. You haven't got any evidence that we're doing anything wrong at all. So you need to stop writing these letters to people. There's going to be a lot of people out there who are going to be frightened, worried and panicked by them. And is that how a company should behave in this day and age? No, it's not. Yours faithfully, Jane Jeffers. She's the enforcement manager for Stoke today. But of course, they're not done yet, are they? What you need to know about the enforcement process. So they're still trying to heap on the pressure, aren't they? We can apply to a court for a search warrant to gain access to your property. Now, yes, okay, they can apply for a court warrant, but that does not mean they'll be successful. In fact, it'll more than likely be the opposite, because to gain one of those court warrants and obviously therefore gain access to someone's house, they need to show the judge some sort of evidence that you're presumably breaking the law by watching TV or downloading TV illegally, as they put it. And therefore, as far as I know, without any evidence, they won't actually be able to gain one of those court warrants at all. And therefore, they won't be able to come in your house. An officer can interview you under caution in accordance with national criminal law. Not the law, but national criminal law. Makes it sound a lot worse than it actually is, doesn't it? Anything you say to the officer may be used as evidence in court. Yes, I know you're probably frightened lots of people with that already. Above, you may risk a fine of up to £1,000 plus any legal / or compensation you may be ordered to pay. And if your property needs a TV licence, you will still need to buy one. Look at that there. If your property, so they don't even know if a property needs one or not. Now, these are two of the worst TV licence letters I've seen. They seem to be full with threats of we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do this, without any evidence or proof that you're doing anything wrong at all. And they've got no reason to suspect you, have they? Yet at the same time, they think they've got the right to send out these sort of letters when they shouldn't have that right, in my opinion. And I know that hopefully in 2027, the TV licence will finally be abolished. However, I think something needs to be put through Parliament before then, so they can't keep sending letters like this out to people. Anyway, to be kept up to date with the latest news, remember to click that subscribe button down there so you don't miss my next video.